So you have an idea, but you have no idea where to go with it. How do you actually turn it into a physical book? What's the process of going from idea to outline to draft to feedback and finally to creating an actual book? You're in luck because today we're starting a 4-week series where I'm talking about that exact topic. The reason we're starting this topic is not only because I think this is going to be super valuable to you, but also because I am publishing my fourth book, Inheritance of Ink, which is a cozy academia mystery romance, and it's coming out August 4th. So to get ready for that and to share with you guys what I learned through the process, we're going to be doing this 4-week series where I cover everything from the first idea to an actual physical book, which I will be holding and showing you eventually. Maybe I'll cut some footage in here. We're going to start with an analogy. The first step when baking is to gather all your ingredients so you know exactly what you're working with. And the same is true of writing, except instead of ingredients, you'll be gathering ideas. And the brainstorming process really is all about volume versus actual quality. You're not trying to create the best ideas you could possibly think of and discard all the rest. The true value in brainstorming comes in how much quantity you can create. Just as many ideas as you can possibly fit into your initial spark for what your concept is. Put them in there, write them all down. Don't hold yourself back just because the idea doesn't sound like exactly what you want. You never know what ideas could spark other ideas that are just what you're looking for. When I started writing Inheritance of Ink, my idea was very basic. I just wanted to write a cute, like, colleagues to lovers romance in a fantasy academia setting, which I already have thanks to my trilogy, the Tidingbearer trilogy, which is set in a fictional allegorical world called Tenebra. So I just wanted to focus on one little area of that, and I wanted to focus on a very cute little romance, and that idea needed to grow. This is where your research is going to come in handy. If you're writing fantasy or sci-fi and you're basing your world on some real world culture, which I definitely recommend for believability, then you're going to want to do a lot of research on that culture and other cultures similar to it and all the factors that led to what that culture is and what we know about it. Research is just such an underrated way to grow new ideas and come up with new concepts. This is especially true if you're writing a genre that's unfamiliar to you, like I was. I have never written mystery before. Now, when I'm brainstorming, I like to optimize my organization. You're going to be very benefited by keeping your workplace document organized by categories like world building, characters, plot ideas, because otherwise it can get really messy really quick. I recommend a workplace document or some place that you can keep everything organized. Google Docs is great for this because there's a whole bunch of tabs and subcategories that you can organize everything by. And then I also like to use word processor. I'm very basic like that, but there are tons of programs out there for writing. You could also try something more unconventional, like Canva has a whiteboard feature and you can pull in like sticky notes and artwork and stuff. So if you think more like globally and need images to really spur your ideas, creating like mood boards, that's another great way to brainstorm, just to get the concept, like what's the vibes I want to achieve? And even something as simple as that can actually be really useful. I hope this helped you get a great idea of how you're going to start your brainstorming process. Next, we're going to talk about how to create characters that will be memorable and powerful to your readers. There are 3 basic things you need to know about every character you write: the wound, the lie, and the truth. This is where internal conflict comes within your story, and internal conflict is really what draws us into a character. That constant struggle of what they want versus what they need, and ultimately the tension of wondering, are they going to choose right? Internal conflict is caused when the character's lie butts up against the truth in a plot that's forcing them to confront something that they don't want to believe or have chosen to believe is false because their wound is clouding their insight. I'm telling you right now, internal conflict is the key to making your readers get invested in your characters and feel them as authentic and real. I had 2 main characters and I had to focus on what their lie and wound were. So first of all was Nelius. His father recently died and he's feeling very overwhelmed and alone, except he's terrible at asking for help. So his wound is the grief that he's currently experiencing, and his lie is, if I ask for help, I'll be admitting I'm weak. The truth he needs to accept is that he can't do it alone and he needs the help of his friends and their support and comfort through this process and to overcome the various issues that's going on in the plot. On the other hand, we have Seraphine, and she struggles with a chronic illness. She's constantly combating brain fog and fatigue and sometimes flare-ups. And as a result, she struggles to be reliable because all these things can really hit her out of the blue, and then she's not able to meet her responsibilities. So she gets kind of a reputation for being a flake, which is a devastating reality to her. That's the wound. And her lie is, if I don't constantly work harder than everyone else, I'll never prove that I deserve the same opportunities they have, which is really honestly a very depressing lie. Obviously, what Seraphine needs is the truth of her worth as an individual and her value to her community and those who love her, regardless of what she experiences in her chronic illness or the difficulty she has with reliability. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to character building, and if you want to know more about how to incorporate them into their culture or focus on the more physical attributes and those types of things, I've actually created a bunch of videos on my shorts about this, so just you can scroll through those or check out the one I've linked and see what other tips I have for creating characters. But these are the 3 essentials that you do not want to be without if you want your characters to feel real. If you found this helpful, then I really hope that you'll tune in next week because we're going to be tackling plots, outlining, and the infamous plot hole and how to actually resolve it, make sure it's not creating issues for you. And until next time, stay kind, curious, and courageous. Bye.